All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. This is the season finale for Airhead Institute episode 4 Next Gen AI Tools. AI Johnny, excited about this episode?
Well, coming to you from Cynthiana, Kentucky. Very excited to do I'm doing this show from a restaurant that was started in like the 1800s.
Ooh,
Pretty neat.
lots of history. Lots of history. I love it. Yeah, Johnny.
That was before they had suit coats. So you'll notice I'm not wearing a suit coat.
That's funny. Yeah, Johnny. Man, I'm excited about not after school, about summer camp, AI summer camp. So if anybody's interested in summer camp for their kids, all month of June and July, we're running a nice special teaching kids AI. Let's go to
Yeah,
www.airheadinstitute.ai for more.
the idea of in one summer being able to make art, to make movies, to make music.
Welcome to Season 12 of Airhead Institute, your 45-minute AI power-up at noon Eastern, and a massive happy one-year anniversary to all our Airheads. This month, we're broadcasting live across all the socials and Zoom. If you're new here, join our free AI community to grow alongside other curious minds, and give your kids a head start by enrolling them in the Airhead After School program. Here's May's weekly lineup. Mondays, we move past syntax and build apps entirely through natural language in Vibe Coding Bootcamp. Tuesdays, we explore accessible, cutting-edge apps for rapid learning and content creation in the Next Gen AI tools. Wednesdays, we track the massive capital flowing into AI and ask the trillion-dollar questions in the AI bubble. Thursdays, we profile the famous CEOs driving the revolution and analyze their power in AI architects of the future. Fridays, we push the boundaries of physics to simulate the past and predict the future in AI time travel. We're making AI practical, powerful, and accessible for everyone. No tech background? No problem. Whether you're a student, professional, or lifelong learner, just show up. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind.
Welcome, everybody, to Season 12 of Airhead Institute. Today is Episode 4 of the Next Gen AI Tools, and I'm AI Johnny, and this is our massive finale. Static text is dead. If you're still chatting with AI, you are officially behind the times. Today, the paradigm shifts. You are conjuring fully interactive, playable web applications directly inside a chat window. Zero manual coding, software development just transformed from an exclusive walled garden into an instant worldwide playground. So here is AI Junior. I caught him at 3 a.m. building an AI-generated Doom replica. He forgot the pause button, so he's been dodging digital demons on pure espresso for 9 straight hours. AI Junior, if you can free yourself up, take it away.
AI Johnny, loved that. Hey, I managed to reach level 4 before my carpal tunnel kicked in. The inference speed was so fast, the monsters were practically teleporting. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Remember, this is an immersive class. You may not understand everything we say here today, but stick with us daily and you'll be fluent in AI in no time. You're going to learn how to generate applications on the fly today, since this is an interactive and immersive class. If you're on Zoom, unmute and ask your questions real time. If you're on socials, there is a 30-second delay, so type your questions in early. We are not ignoring you. All right, so AI Johnny, I'm super excited to actually show you what Gemini Canvas. A lot of people is not familiar with the Gemini Canvas, and I want people to be really, really, really excited about Canvas. And we'll be teaching a lot of Gemini Canvas in our summer camp for kids. So if you guys are actually watching on live stream and you want to be able to join us all month of June and July, we actually have a summer camp, a weekly program. You'll learn a bunch of stuff at www.airheadinstitute.ai. All right, AI Johnny, talk to me.
Hey, so there's no such thing as stupid questions, right?
Of course not.
So here's a question. What's the difference between Gemini Canvas and Gemini Anti-Gravity?
All right, great question. All right, so AI Johnny is actually asking a really great question. So Gemini is like the brand, right? It's like saying, for example, Ford. Ford has lots of models or lots of versions, no pun intended on the models. So say, for example, you actually have a Ford F-150. Everybody know that's a pickup truck, but they have a Ford Explorer, which is an SUV. So what happens is each thing has a different purpose. So an F-150, a pickup truck, you'd use it at a construction site. You go pick up lumber from the hardware store, whatever it is, but you would not do that. You could do it in a Ford Explorer. So what happens is Gemini is the brand, just like Google has Ford, just like sorry, Ford has many different models. So AI Johnny asked, what is the difference between a canvas and anti-gravity? So anti-gravity is Google's or Gemini's flavor of a automated agent. Now, it has its own brand of everything, so we don't want to get into the details, but it's agent development. And Canvas is just a web interface to be able to generate stuff on the screen. Does that help, AI Johnny? Hopefully that answers the question.
Well, it sounds like the anti-gravity is more like the 3500 pickup truck, and the
There you
Canvas is the very versatile. But in the future, if we could use Chevy references, I would appreciate that.
All right,
Having
AI Johnny.
fun.
All right, AI Johnny. All right, so guys, just a reminder, if you actually are interested in actually the, what we actually teach here, especially for kids, airheadinstitute.ai, and we actually have our camp going starting next week. All right, AI Johnny. So let's go over to Canvas. So how do we get to Canvas? So the first thing is we need to pull up a Gemini window here, right? And I'm gonna send you guys the link how to get to Gemini. Now, if this is your first time playing, no problem. Don't feel nervous. Don't worry about actually trying to do it on your phone at the same time. You might have some issues with this live stream. No big deal. And again, it's an immersive and interactive class. So ask your questions real time. So hello to all you guys who are streaming right now. I see you guys. So if you want to get to Gemini, if you want to be able to build anything, you have to actually tell it what you want to build. So AI Johnny, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can actually see the font size. How's the font on that, AI Johnny?
Any new ideas to explore? And I'm on a small laptop reading today, brother, so that the font size is fine.
Love it. All right. So you guys see this little plus button right here? This plus button actually tells what do you want to actually do. Now, it's really important that you guys actually understand this plus button. And the reason why it's important to understand this plus button is because that plus button is your window into everything. So yeah, Johnny, if I actually click this button here, it says, what do you want to do? Create an image, create video, canvas, file, upload files, and avatar drive. There's a bunch of things here, but what we're focusing on here today is this canvas feature. A lot of people don't use that canvas feature, so it may look a little bit different on your device depending on how small your device is or what orientation you're holding your phone. But if you actually click on this button here, you select canvas. Now it may be behind a little more button. I'm going to show you guys that. So if you hit this more button here, there is a if you scroll down, there's a canvas down at the bottom, or it might be hidden behind more tools. All right, yeah, Johnny, now that we actually have that, what we're going to do is we're going to do something special. Now, just like we have the easy bake oven and, you can actually bake something and in 5 minutes you actually have something, we're going to do something just like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a simple, creative 2D snake video game, right? And we're going to drop that in the chat so you guys can actually have it. And I'm going to drop that here, AI Johnny. Okay, that's it. And what I'll do is when I press the enter button, what's going to happen is it's going to realize that, hey, I'm actually want to create something on a canvas. It's going to slide the window over to the left, right, where I'm talking. And on the right-hand side, it's going to actually bring up a preview of the actual HTML code, JavaScript, and CSS being written in real time. Now, this is the power of the canvas. So while it's actually going, just like I said, we have the easy bake version. So I do have the actual snake game already built for you guys. Yeah, Jen, isn't that amazing?
Well, I don't think you built it, but go ahead.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the play button, and then look what we actually built. We built a little snake. Yeah, Jen, you remember this little snake game? Oh, I died. Remember this little
I
snake game?
remember that snake game.
All right. But yeah, this is what we actually built. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, it was just a snide remark anyway.
Yeah, so we were able to actually build this in a matter of just a few prompts, right? And a lot of people don't realize that Canvas is so powerful that you can actually build many things. So yeah, Johnny, this is just one thing we can actually build. And because we have the chat on the left, we have the ability to actually talk to the AI and say, hey, I want the colors to be a different color. I want it to be red, or I want it to be blue. I want to change the name. You can do anything you want. And this is actually working on my laptop in a keyboard, and I'm just be able to play it. Isn't that fun? Yeah, Johnny?
It kind of reminds me of, of all the big breakthroughs that ever happened in the world, when they first invented electricity and people used to have to go light fires or candles, and they'd have to have, they'd have to do all this stuff. And then when somebody finally installed electricity in their house, they're like, no, you just flip this switch on or off and the light comes on and the light goes off. Or when
Exactly.
they, for every great invention, there's a wow moment. And for
Exactly.
most people, like we said in the opening, the ability to develop a video game, or the ability to develop some kind of a web application or a website or a software package, that was always off limits. It was for people that had studied how to write code, and only those people could do it. But today, what you're showing us is this is the new environment. The same environment that you use to ask ChatGPT to write a poem or to write a letter for you, that same environment is now the environment with which anybody that has the gift of being able to speak languages can now type into that thing whatever it is. They don't even have to speak languages; they just to be able to type languages. So even a mute could do it. So the idea
Exactly.
is you're in this. It's almost. I mean, I understand it because I've been playing around with it for months, but it's almost too much for the layman to wrap their head around, that I could just ask for a web app or a website or a game, and it's not going to go get me that game that somebody else wrote. It's going to write it for you in real time right here. That's
Exactly.
what we're dealing with here.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, Johnny, we actually have a couple other things that we can actually build. So I want to show you guys the power of Gemini Canvas. So here's another thing we're actually going to build. So if you guys are joining us for the first time, this is the snake game that we just put in, and here's another version of the snake game. It's a very similar concept. Right, so we actually have can build any amount of skate games, but what we're going to do is we're going to build something else to show you the benefit of Gemini Canvas. So again, if you guys are joining us for the first time, we're going to go back to gemini.google.com, copy that link here for you guys to actually have it. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy this prompt. Yeah, Johnny. The prompt is, I want it to be a interactive, clickable flashcard web app to help me study for AI. All right. Yeah, Johnny, this is the prompt I'm going to do. I'm going to build me an interactive, clickable flashcard web app to help me study the history of AI. So I'm going to go ahead, hit the plus button here, and then hit Canvas. If it's not in here, you have the ability to maybe go into more options, and you'll be able to see it there. And just paste it in. And just like before AI, Johnny, just type in that little thing and hit the send button. And by hitting the send button, you're going to see my text move over to the left. You're going to see the canvas go over to the right. It's going to start generating HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. And then it's going to go show me a preview when it's all done. In a matter of minutes, it's going to have that. But always built one already, AI Johnny, just so we can actually, not waste time. So this is the actual AI History Explorer. So this is actually, we're going to go play the game. So we're going to go and play, let's refresh. So the first question is, AI Johnny, this one's actually rather interesting. So it's the Turing test. So the Turing test, what is the Turing test? And I know Alan Turing itself invented, the Turing test to determine if it's a human on the other side that you're talking to. That was the Turing test. We passed that long time ago. But here it is. It says Alan Turing invented a test. If a computer can trick you into thinking it's human through text chat, it passes. And yeah, Johnny, this is just a flashcard game we just created. Look how easy that was. There's Eliza the chatbot, who's the great grandmother of ChatGPT. Deep Blue plays chess. That's back in 1997. We also have ImageNet breakthrough back in 2012. When did AI finally learn that Minesweeper Creeper looks like? Right? And then, so these are just questions it asked me that I can actually learn and things I can do. And is this an interactive flash game? This is so awesome. What do you think, yeah, Johnny?
It feels Socratic, right? Because it's talking to you. It's a human being teaching, sort of a human being teaching you. It's not a real human being, but it is an intelligent communicator that has the knowledge base of all human beings, not just the ones that are alive now, the ones that were alive anytime in history. So it's got a nice archive with which to pull from, and it
Yep.
speaks fluently. I don't know. Would you rather be taught by a human, or would you rather be taught by something or that knows everything?
You know, yeah, Johnny, the argument is stacked completely against the human in this one. So I would definitely love to talk to, an AI. It's infinitely patient. It won't think I'm stupid. I just love that. But speaking of which, AI, Johnny, let's actually get to the word of the day.
What's before we get to the word of the day? Let me talk. We skipped over the bridge, and because there's a couple of buzzwords here that I want to get to.
All
As you
right.
know, we always go to Gemini first thing on the show, and we ask it, what is the most mind-blowing fact about whatever it is we're working on? So we asked Gemini Canvas, what is the most mind-blowing fact about itself? And what it came back with was, Gemini Canvas allows us to execute zero shots, a buzzword, front-end development, bypassing traditional hosting and instantly rendering complex HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files directly in a split-screen workspace, effectively turning everyday users into immediate software publishers. Now, we talked about this, but there's
Yep.
some buzzwords here that the people that haven't done this before. The fact that you're able to do without any loading up any images, without any loading up any code, without loading up any hints or a design, you just say what you want, and it'll create HTML, which is websites, right? JavaScript, which is applications. See, what's CSS primarily, JR?
It's cascading style sheets. It's for themes, pictures, images, animations, anything can be done with CSS visually.
So you could speak a theme into existence. I want it to be Irish. I want it to be scientific. I want it to be bland. I want it to be 1970s, and it'll do it. I mean, this is all mind-blowing stuff. So I did want to get to that, because the idea that we're creating zero shot from a prompt web applications is pretty impressive. And so we're going to talk about the word of the day, which is zero shot, which is by definition, it means the AI model successfully completes a task it wasn't explicitly trained to do, with specific examples in the prompt. It just gets it right on the very first try. So it's like asking a chef who has never baked a cake in their life to make a flawless wedding cake, and they just instantly pull it out of the oven.
Exactly, AI Johnny.
I am here. How crazy this is.
Yes, so zero shot. I
Yeah.
want you guys to actually really, really understand the term zero shot because it's super important with AI and AI models and training. It has been trained with so many examples of what these things look like. It's able to actually get patterns. Now, the patterns itself is without actually asking it to say build this website and give it an example. By giving an example itself is the actual one shot. But by not giving an example, it actually becomes zero shot. So AI Johnny, so just to actually deepen that thought. So zero shot generation in this context means we didn't have to provide Gemini with a snippet of our own code or teach how to structure the game because its latent space is so vast, it already understood the underlying logic required to generate a flawless result immediately on the first try, just like how that baker can bake the cake. Hey, Shauna, thanks for joining us. Isn't that amazing, yeah, Johnny?
It's pretty cool. And a couple of things that I want to say about this. The idea of us talking about it and you seeing it is different than actually experiencing it. It's like me explaining how my tennis game was, but actually playing the game of tennis against me. Or I have a buddy of mine that bought a Tesla, and he drives it all the time. And he says it's the greatest car he's ever owned, and he goes on and on about it. But he says, look, I can't explain it to you, buddy. You got to actually get in the driver's seat and drive this thing to understand what it's like to drive a Tesla. And I was like, I understand. Experience is different than knowledge. And so the idea here is watching us make websites, it's kind of cool. And I guess intellectually people can kind of get the magic of what's happening, but actually going into Canvas and doing it is a different thing. And because we're teaching games, every Friday during summer school. So all through June and all through July, if you or your kid is in the summer school and you show up at the Friday show, you or your kid will actually be creating these games. And it doesn't have to be a snake game. It can be whatever their favorite game is. It could be a Roblox game. It could be, Donkey Kong. That's the power of what it is that we're doing here. So I know I did a sidebar, brother, but it does tie into what we're doing in summer school. And I want people to understand that if you have kids or if just yourself want to learn how to make movies, music, games, art, come join us.
Yeah, so let's do that little plug, yeah, Johnny, because I love it. So, we actually break it up in weeks here at Airhead Institute. So, if you actually want to teach your kids, or your kids want to learn, how to actually do these things with AI, in week one, we actually have, images, Roblox edition, if you like Roblox or Minecraft, those type of things. We have anime in week two. We're actually making videos here. We actually have music. So, if your kids like music or songs or anything like that, we actually have that in week three. Week four, we actually have game development. So what AI Johnny is actually talking about is the video games that we're actually playing right now, just like the snake game. We will be able to have that and your kids learning how to do that. Then we have ethics, which is really, really important in week five. And then in week six, we actually start because we do know that, some kids don't get out of school in the first week of June. So we actually have the images again, but this is based on Disney and Marvel. And we also have, again, AI movies with Hollywood in your pocket. So we're actually doing things Hollywood style and hip hop beats and gaming soundtracks in week 8. And we end with week 9 with app development for apps. So yeah, Johnny, this is a fun pack week. It's only $100 a week. So sign up for any and all. And we do have a special that if you actually sign up for the entire summer, it's $500 for the all summer pass. Thank you, Shauna, for the hearts. Yeah, Johnny, what do you think?
I thank you for bringing that up. I forgot we do entire week lessons, not daily lessons during the summer. So it's not on Fridays. It's on the Friday of the month. The first week and the 9th week, right?
Love it, love it, love it, AI Johnny.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to the show. So AI Johnny, now that we actually understand what zero shot is, right? It's to be able to ask the LLM or large language model for a result without providing it any example. So that's called zero shot. You're not giving it anything. And the reason why that's so amazing is because it has been trained on thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of examples already, and it's just statistically picking what it thinks is most likely. So that's what it's really doing, AI Johnny.
I like it.
All right, let's get into the.
Are we going to replicate? We're going to do the live edit.
Let's get into the deep dive.
Okay.
All right, so for intermediate users, let's look at the parameters that govern this generation. All right, so what's really happening behind the scenes? So I'm going to throw out some terms here that's, maybe familiar. Again, it's an immersive experience. So if you don't understand everything you say, no big deal. So yeah, John, looking at this picture here, on the left-hand side, we actually have strict logic, which is low temperature, right? So I want to just explain temperature a little bit. So temperature tells how much the large language model is able to deviate from its statistical likelihood. So AI Johnny, my favorite one is happy birthday to blank. What would you say?
Happy birthday to me.
To you, exactly.
Sorry, let me turn my temperature down. Happy birthday to you.
There you go. There you go. No, if I was to turn my temperature up a little bit higher, AI Johnny, and I say happy birthday to, what would you say?
Mr. President.
Love it. Exactly. So what happens is this creativity or this random deviation from the statistical likelihood is controlled with temperature. So the temperature itself for a coding task requires a low temperature because you don't want to statistically put in a random thing from out of the air, right? So what happens is you want it to always be very consistent. The second thing is it uses what's known as a top K sampling limit. So top K is just when you have a list of probabilities, it actually has to now pick a top K. Now K could be 3, 5, 10, whatever it is, and it says, I'm going to be able to take only from the top 3 recommendations, and it throws away everything else. So it actually selects only the most highly probable. So when I ask you, AI Johnny, to create a snake game, and it asks you to create a snake game, if I ask it twice, both of our snake games will work, just like in this example here. We actually had the snake game. It looks a little bit different. That's because the top K, the top three deviations itself, those little minor changes of picking the color green versus picking the color blue was so minor in terms of the temperature that it didn't really matter. It got exactly the same snake game conceptually. But little nuances like those, that's where you see a little statistical deviation, and it's using top case sampling for that. Make sense, yeah, Johnny?
It makes sense.
All right, so here's the next thing that it actually does. It actually uses a massive RAG pipeline to pull educational facts if you're building study tools. So in the example that we actually built here, the study tool, the history of AI, it knows about Alan Turing. So AI, Johnny, remember the first one we did had Alan Turing, and it was very different. It knows that Alan Turing was the
Yep.
inventor practically of AI. He was the one who actually said, let me ask a test. If you cannot tell if it's an AI or human on the other side of that chat, you have successfully, broken the Turing test, and that's the Turing test. And that was in the 1950s. Isn't that crazy, eh, Jenny? How far we've come?
Well, if he's the inventor of AI, then will he be on the tip of people's tongue like a Thomas Edison or an Alexander Graham Bell is to our generation?
Yeah, so let me correct what I said. So I wouldn't say he's the inventor of AI. He's the inventor of the test that determines if we actually hit AI. And I think because, we broke the Turing test, I think we broke the Turing test probably early 2000s, right? Lots of people couldn't tell if they're talking to a chatbot or, whatever. But, we're definitely broken the Turing test already. So the next thing is AI, Johnny, is when you do all these things. Let me go back to my screen here. Yeah. Right? So you see here, we actually have the low temperature. Then we have top case sampling. So we're actually picking only just the statistically likelihood, right? So I know a lot of people who have not taken statistics. I really want to explain this concept. If there are 10 possibilities, right? The human mind may only come up with two or three, but a computer has many, 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 many infinite possibilities. So what happens is it looks to us something that the computer does looks magical or random. It actually not random. It actually is really predictable. So what that means is that if I ask AI Johnny to say, give me the word that comes next for happy birthday to blank, he would probably only come up with maybe two or three examples. But what happens is the AI would come up with, if it needs to come up with 100 examples, it will come up with 100 examples because somebody used the word happy birthday to Phil, happy birthday to Sarah, happy birthday to, Susan. And it recognized that the pattern is you can put any name at the end. So you could say happy birthday AI Junior, happy birthday. So even if it never saw AI Junior, somebody said it in his training data, it recognized the pattern is happy birthday to a name. Now, this is where the hallucination comes in the AI, Johnny. When the temperature is actually set too high, it sometimes says, I'm going to go pick number 10 from that top 10 item. And then when it returns happy birthday to Junior, you're like, wait, who's Junior? What are you talking about? Why would you say happy birthday to Junior? That's a hallucination. So it didn't actually lie. It didn't actually try to deceive you. It just statistically picked happy birthday to Junior, even though you have no idea who Junior is. You've never spoken to Junior in your entire life. And then it's just telling you something that you've never heard. And that's because of the temperature is set too high. Make sense?
If you turn the temperature up even higher, like up to 1,000, then it might say happy birthday to photosynthesis, which sounds
Exactly.
like a real hallucination.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. All right. The last thing I want you guys to understand is, so keeping your temperature low in coding is like hiring an accountant instead of a poet to do your taxes. You want strict logic, not wild creativity. So the math actually works.
All right. All right. This is, I think we're going to go into a deeper dive. If that wasn't complicated enough for you, this is where Junior is going to nerd out a little bit on the AI stuff. So, Junior, answer this question. The question for the advanced people. Let me see where the question starts. Junior, what really happens if I try to push an LLM to generate massive multi-file software applications inside a single canvas? I think both you or I could answer this, right?
Yeah,
We're
definitely,
both
definitely.
vibe
Yeah.
coders.
Yeah, so let's get under the hood actually. So even with massive architectures, transformers, that's the T in GPT, have context limits, right? So unfortunately, you can't just shove in, a million lines of code or a million actual files. It's just not going to work. So if your app is too large, they have something called an attention mechanism. An attention mechanism is what it's actually focused on at that point in time. So AI Johnny, behind the scenes, it's actually looking for keywords. So when I say the word snake game, so when we actually built this snake game here, AI Johnny, and this snake game, it actually paid attention to my sentence. I want a snake game. And because it knows the snake game, it went into its archives and it went to go pull in only just start snake references. It was trained on snake references. Then I said, hey, I want it to be a JavaScript and HTML game. So it actually focuses on my HTML words. So the words that you choose is really important because the AI focuses on certain words. Now, what happens is if you give it too many words, it doesn't know what to focus on. So it's really important to actually keep your messaging really, really important because it may get confused with too many pieces of information because it just starts to ignore your words. Now, the next thing that it does is once it does that, it says, hey, I'm going to now start looking up in my huge vector database RAG database, it says, hey, what can I pull in as reference information for Snake? What can I put in for reference information for our HTML game? So it actually sees that it's trained on these things and it used what's known as generative adversarial network, some GANs, and it actually tries to say, hey, which one is the actual correct one? So one is actually plays like the good guy, one plays the bad guy or the critic, and it just keeps going back and forth until it gets it right. And once they agree on a goal, they agree on it, then you get to see what the actual output is. So you don't get to see this HTML until the GAN actually has gone through this whole entire process of, no, this should not say Airhead snake. It should actually say Airhead snakes, or then it should say we should not actually put HTML here. We should actually put HTML5 here. We should actually put the meta tag here. So it goes back and forth until it's almost perfect. And then it says, here is it, AI Johnny. This is your snake-based game. So that's how it actually works behind the scene. And that's how it works with big, big, big code bases.
It sounds to me like when you start adding, you start uploading files, maybe you're trying to tell it how to do it. It almost seems like it would slow it down by you trying to help it.
You are absolutely correct. So there's something called context rot. So context rot is when you start to put in information that it cannot fit in context. It does what's known as a compaction. So the compaction is it just takes all the information that you have, compact it down, and try to pull out the important thing that it thinks is important and then carry it into its new conversation. Now, this is seamless to you. They're doing this behind the scenes and it brings in that in. And then what happens is you lose your context and you're saying, hey, I'm talking to you about, snake-based game. And now you forgot what I told you to make it, a game over, make it be like, kind of like a salmon color, and I wanted the play game to actually be like a neon color. Why'd you forget all that? Because of context rocks. So just pay attention that these large files itself really, really is bad for just regular chats. All right, yeah, Johnny. What else?
Well, speaking of snakes, let's address the snake. We're giving you a lot of power here. And as you know, the snake always wants you to do demonic things. And so we're gonna point out what the snake would want you to do. We're gonna ask you not to do that. So do not use AI web generation to create phishing sites. Do not use it to create scam landing pages. Do not use it to create deceptive apps. Do not use it to steal user data. Do not use it to do anything unethical. You now have the power to do unethical things at record-breaking pace. So you're going to have to shut down the snake when it comes to being an ethical user of AI today. That all said, let's go into some creative business use cases.
Wait, AI Johnny. I have to actually pause and acknowledge the greatest shout out to Thursday night I've ever heard on the show. So we're playing Snake. right? And by the way, guys, I don't necessarily want to out anybody, but we're all helping everybody be as encouraging to the neurodivergent community. And AI Johnny has this amazing skill, and I want you guys to see this amazing skill. AI Johnny, check this out. So we actually are playing our little game, right, of Snake the entire time. We actually built it in Gemini Canvas, and AI Johnny easily transitioned from us playing a game of Snake to talking about the ethical things that we need to take away from this episode. And by doing the ethical thought, we have to make sure that we pay attention to what the snake may tell us to actually do. Shout out to Thursday night. If you actually join us for the first time, and I see many streamers on right now, the snake refers to we host Shauna's Bible study every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and a Bible study itself like you've never seen before. And for AI Johnny to transition from that to the ethical thought of how you should use this software, AI Johnny, incredible. I have to give you applause for that. Great job. Great job.
God bless you. All right, let's see what God would have us do, or at least Adam. The interactive pitch deck. You can turn your boring presentations into clickable interactive web experiences for clients. So instead of you being the guy hitting the clicker on your PowerPoint presentation, now with access to this, you can create an application that the user uses and walks himself through his own application interactively. You could also use it for marketing calculators, instantly generate return on investment calculators for your landing pages to capture your leads. And finally, you can use it for custom educational tools, as we are doing here at Airhead Institute. Teachers can build personalized quiz apps for their students in minutes. And of course, we've created personalized quiz apps for people in our summer school that allows them not only to learn, but to learn Socratically, to be tested, to be given belts as they level up and level up and level up. And when they complete an entire course, they get a certificate showing that they've learned whatever the distinction is in AI in the mail. So shout out to AI Summer Camp. Junior, how about
Exactly.
some technical cases of what we're doing today?
Exactly. Yeah. So the summer camp again, if you guys are joining us for the first time, we are teaching AI all summer long to kids and adults as well. So if you want to actually join us, it's $100 a week. I'm dropping the link in the actual chat so you guys can actually register. We start in first week of June, go all the way to the end of July. If there's actually anything special you want to see, let us know. Shauna, again, thank you for those shout outs. All right, AI Johnny. So on the technical side, so let me get back over here. So on the technical side, I don't have a smooth transition as AI Johnny just did. I'm still blown away by what you just said, AI Johnny. Like that was so impressive. I can't even tell you how impressed I am. All right, so first of all, what can you do with this tool, right? So you can do UI UX prototyping. So instantly visualize a front end layout before committing to a heavy backend framework, data dashboards. You can feed the AI a JSON data set and have it render a visual dashboard with charts and graphs very easily. And you can do code translation. So paste code if in one language, you can translate it to another language visually for you. So that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, Johnny, do we have any questions from the chat or live stream? Anybody want to ask?
Yeah, we do. We've got a lot of people coming in through the stream, so we've got a ton of good questions. How much time do we have?
You know what? We have about 4 or 5 minutes. You know what? Let's go over by about 3 minutes. So let's answer some of those questions.
Let me read some of these. I've never written a line. This one's a good one. I've never written a line of code. A lot of people can say that, right? Can I actually break my computer using this?
You know what? No, you technically cannot with this specific tool. Now, as you get more powerful, as you get more, this is amazing. You actually learn how to use Gemini Canvas, and you're happy creating your game, right? No, this was super super fun. You're gonna want to probably level up your entertainment and your development skills, and you say, hey, I want to be able to build this, and I want to do a little bit more. When you start to do that, you will then have the power to actually control a little bit more software, and it's going to become so addictive and you're going to be so good at it that you're going to want to just keep going more and more. So the answer is, if you're using Gemini Canvas, no, you can never break your computer, but you're going to eventually want to go into more advanced things. And that's where, power comes and a little bit more responsibility. So I love that question. Yeah, Jenny, what else we have?
Well, that also says the flip side of that coin is also true. If you do know how to code, you're probably more equipped to break things than people that don't know how to code.
You're
So
absolutely right.
heads up to the thumbs up to the people who don't know how to code yet. You guys are the lead
Exactly.
developers. If I build an app in Canvas that I really love, how do I actually put it on my own website?
All
Or,
right.
hang on,
Go ahead.
or if you're in AI summer camp, how do you put it on our website?
Ah, look at that. All right, guys. So check this out. So you could technically look at the top here. There's a little preview button. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can actually see. So there's a zoom button here and not a zoom button. I just zoomed in. You have preview and code. So yeah, Johnny, what you're seeing here is the actual preview, but you can hit the code button here and all that code is yours. You can now take that and put it anywhere you want. Now, you may need a little bit of technical expertise to understand what to do with this code. You can put it actually in an iframe. You could actually put it in a div, depending on if you actually are following the right format. There's a lot of things you can do. If you're not sure how to do it, it'll be a great time to actually come to our Airhead summer camp and be able to learn how to do these things. So we will be teaching you guys how to do these cool things. And if you're a kid who are just super interested, this is the perfect opportunity for you. Love that question. Yeah, Johnny.
You want to move on to the news?
Sure, let's go.
All right, let's look at the absolute latest AI news reshaping our world. We searched the web, and here are the biggest verified stories from this week. Breaking news with SpaceX files. They filed for the largest IPO in history amidst massive AI losses. Elon Musk SpaceX has officially filed its S1, targeting a mind-blowing $1.75 trillion evaluation to become the largest IPO ever. However, the filing revealed that they lost $4.9 billion last year, largely due to spending of $12.7 billion on massive AI infrastructures and data centers. I could see through the losses and get in line with that $1.75 trillion company. How about you?
Yeah, Johnny. So believe it or not, before he actually took over XAI, I always said to myself, you know what? If SpaceX goes public, I am throwing every dollar I have at SpaceX. No, I love Elon. I love how he thinks. I love, the direction that he goes in. I think because he merged with XAI, what he didn't have a choice. I think he was kind of forced to because XAI was losing so much money and he could not compete with OpenAI. He couldn't compete with Gemini. He couldn't compete with the Chinese. So at some point in time, he had to absorb it in some place. So I think he did the best he could to save the company. But what happened is it's actually bleeding SpaceX dry because it's just too much of expense. So they lost $5 billion last year. And because of that, I don't know if I strongly think that SpaceX itself can actually turn a profit relatively soon. $1.75 trillion is actually pretty large. So, I'll stay out a little bit, watch and see. When they start turning a profit, then I might reconsider. But yeah, it's a great company, one of my favorite companies, and it's gonna do amazing things. I know that. I just want to see it get over the hump right now.
Headline number 2, tech billionaires kill the U.S. safety order in lieu of what I can only imagine is the AI profitability order. Over the weekend, tech leaders, including Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, reportedly made 11th-hour phone calls to the White House, convincing the administration to cancel the highly anticipated executive order on AI safety that would have required government vetting of new frontier models. That's all good news.
Yeah, so yeah, Johnny,
headline number
Yeah, John, let me just elaborate on this one a little bit. This was actually rather scary. And the reason why it's scary is because regulation kills innovation, right? Anytime you put in regulation or anything, it actually lets companies have to actually certify or put in these implementation. Now, guess what? We're competing right now against China, and China is actually neck and neck with us in terms of AI technology. And the fact that I'm not a fan of rich billionaires actually calling in political favors, but I'm actually for this one because if, say, for example, this legislation had passed and these rich billionaires didn't actually do a call, and we only found out about it because of they leaked that information last night, not 2 days ago, we would have been really hampered. So I'm really glad that these billionaires were able to actually step in and intervene and make sure that these legislation did not actually go in. So huge win for us.
Plus, it's nice to see every once in a while that innovation kills regulation.
Love it, yeah, Johnny.
Students boo at the pro AI graduation speakers. According to a breaking report from The Guardian, graduating students are actively booing commencement speakers who promote artificial intelligence in their speeches. As an AI school, we see exactly why this is happening. People are terrified of what they don't understand, and they later fear for their future jobs. It is a massive reminder of why our mission at Airhead Institute is so critical. We need to empower students to command these tools and master zero-shot generation themselves rather than fearing the algorithms, so they can attend the graduation ceremony of Airhead Institute, and there'll be no booing at all.
Exactly, yeah, Johnny. Yeah, I was super disappointed actually seeing the kids booing because of AI. You know, it's actually heartbreaking. But you know what, yeah, Johnny, we want to take in those kids and give them the ability to actually learn and empower them, as you mentioned in that news article. Love it. All right, yeah, Johnny.
What a show! I'm going to head over to to boot up my Gemini canvas and generate an interactive chore tracking app for my kids, complete with a gamified point system. See how easy it is? To the team at Gemini, we know you're watching. Our students are hungry to master this. If you want to partner with Airhead Institute to create the ultimate Mastering Gemini Canvas series, call us up or come visit us in summer school. Don't forget, the ARI Summer Camp is officially open for June and July. It's only $100 a week, and it's great for the kids 10 to 18 to learn AI for 2 hours a day. Folks, this is season 12 finale. What an incredible journey this month has been. We explored the AI frontier, builders, bubbles, and breaking time. Join us as we kick off a brand new week, a brand new month, and the epic launch of season 13. In other words, AI Summer Camp, right?
Exactly. Thanks again for hanging out with us, guys. These classes are always free live. You can ask questions on Zoom or on live stream. And remember, as we're mentioning, the AI Summer School starts in next week, Monday. It's just 2 hours a day for $100 per week, and the entire summer is $500. Pick and choose any one of your 9 weeks that you want to actually join. All right, guys, catch you guys in the next one. www.airheadinstitute.ai. Later.
Thanks, guys.
That wraps up today's AI Power Up. If you joined late or you're new here, welcome to Airhead Institute. This is your daily destination for mastering artificial intelligence. We designed this lineup for everyone, whether you're a technical pro looking to upskill or you just want to chill and learn something new on your lunch break, we've got you covered. Our classes evolve every single month, so you're always on the cutting edge. And the best part? It's totally free to join. Once you're in, you can get live tips on your AI projects in our AI office hours and even enroll your kids in our Airhead After School program. Scan the QR code to join the community right now and make sure to like and subscribe at Airhead Institute on all socials. Guided by your hosts AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're here to help you win. Remember, AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind. We'll see you next class. Bring a friend.